his reports said on BT Cotton that he gave one of the alternatives by BT Cotton.
BT Brinjal.
BT Brinjal, sorry. BT Brinjal, why is not required? He gave example of this NPM CMSA program in Andhra Pradesh. Some Financial Times kind of journalist asked the chief of this BT company that are you not aware that there is a program going on in Andhra Pradesh that sees that maybe as an alternative to a BT thing. He said, I am not aware of any kind of program that's going. That's a kind of, he thought maybe genuine answer, maybe he thought that is coming to program. Then immediately a message came from Delhi that you put all the names of the farmers on web. Thanks to that, today we have more than 10 lakh farmers on web with their practices. Who sprayed pesticide, who sprayed not, who didn't spray pesticide. Even who sprayed pesticide also we put on web. Now we will be putting 9 lakh more farmers along with their incomes, etc. That's it. See, from thread you take the program to the next level. Coming to the MKSP and consultation, I can only say that the guidelines have been emerged after several rounds of discussions with all the concerned players. Because probably the present JS was the CEO of SARP of Andhra Pradesh. Probably he was a bit touchy. Tomorrow people should not label him that he is carrying his ideas into MKSP. A huge consultation process gone in and everybody made their presentation. The group accepted to the common minimum standards. Now, of course, we are all there in the game, but we are having a 16 higher end activities over and above MKSP. So that we would like to leverage SARP's role, a kind of anchor for NRLM. That's our ambition and aspiration. Whether it happens or not, fine. Of course, there is a lot of exchange of visits. We also go to other states. They also come to us. So that's, thank you.
Decide whether the farmers, the participatory system is encompasses on the grassroots level of the farmer, a single unit, single village within only where put it radius of 3 to 4 kilometers. That's the entity. In the same village they can be farmers. And each farmer could be a member, and individual small 3 to 5 members they could be a group. Okay. Then and another advantage of PGS to third party we have the certification 500 farmers, but one certificate is given. But here in PGS, individually by name each farmer will get a certificate. So that adds to the thing, and each farmer can get yes it is certified. This is the advantage, and scope is every farmer, any place, anywhere can be made up. Okay, and this is the advantage for marketing. Number two, about the types, you said about that is two things you might be getting confused about PGS Council India and PGS India. Okay, so what Mr. Gupta has already explained, and they are working very nicely. Last 10 years. Last week I was at Aurangabad. So George Daniel, who heads the IRD, and I had seen the market. I cannot believe my eyes. So much people in long row. And that what he said, the slide, really marvelous. They are doing very wonderful work. Even Orissa, they have started some groups, and Seva in West Bengal, and other parts of the country, and the Keystone and other things in Kerala, they are wonderful. And then the difference is, in fact, this mother child is IPOM. Okay. So IPOM is just like international body. They take up the basic principle of organic and say how the common people, common farmers are benefited. The same basic principle, what is the third party certificate has been taken care in that IPOM, and that is been implemented by both. Okay. On the other hand, this our PGS India has started by government recently, and still yet to approved by our gazette notification not yet over. Okay, but here this thing maintained here in the 4 levels. One is local level, village level. Next one local group. Next one regional council. Next one zonal council. Next one comes to the secretariat. Then final. So these things have been already implemented, but not yet completed because not yet notified by government of India gazette notification. Once it's come, but we have been drafted as PGS India. But any farmer anywhere can be part of the anything, and we have encouraged the state government to make out the PGS council. They can be considered as PGS council to take up the issue. So it is nothing like that. Anybody, any farmer can be part of the anything, and here. The certificates not yet issued by PGS India, but they are issuing. Okay. So any farmer, any place can be a place and can be certified organic, but it is not yet international, only for domestic market. By trust, it is made out. and the progress is enormous. Response by farmers is very, very good. Very good, and it is highly encouraging. And many people say don't trust the third party certification by trust of these PGS is growing very well and highly popular among farmers, because in rural areas, farmers are having some millets and the new products which are insurance rate is very, very high. They have a good option, good opportunity to take PGS and get it to main domestic market at least. Thank you.
Right? How do we define how an individual farmer family can join a group and hence that group can get certification? So the idea that a farmer family should be fully organic is one of the criteria that we hold when we have to consider a group certification. Right? That the members, all the members of group adhere to this idea. That's it. So the second thing you were asking is,
what if one farmer in the group is in conversion and the rest of them are organic?
yeah. So if you read the drafts of PGS India, there is a scope for in-conversion, but we haven't been following an in-conversion based mechanism. Either, as I said, either the pregnancy is there or it's not there. Essentially that. So you either state that you are going to become PGS after this 3-year period, 4-year period, or whatever you would like to say, and after you have actually adopted that practice wherein all your farms and fields are organic, and you're doing these practices for that minimum period, at least like NPOP says 3 years are required in conversion, right? So during those 3 years you don't apply for PGS. You do your organic, you do it once you completed that 3-year time period, you come for PGS certification. Like that. And to answer your
But here, in PGS India, if it is conversion, we put it C1, conversion was first year, C2 second year, C3, then PGS certificate.
That is
With the logo. With the logo.
they have split logos.
No, in PGS, he's asking about PGS. PGS, it is provisionalized, not with PGS.
There are split logos in PGS India. We only have one logo and we can offer it only in one criteria. That's the current position. We are still in discussion to see if there are any shortcomings in this idea. Till now we haven't had any problems. Second question is, what are the various forms of PGS? There is really only one form of PGS, and it is only how it is applied in various scenarios. So we have been following a method in consultation with iPhone since 2006. Government of India has brought this up in 2010. So it's a question of how it's going to get implemented. There really is only one form of PGS, essentially. Second question was whether PGS recognition is recognized all over India. So essentially, see, the idea of PGS is not its span. The idea of PGS is to localize, right? So the idea is to let the farmers themselves identify with PGS. The farmers first need to identify, yes, PGS is something that I relate with, and then using the marketing, you spread the word of PGS out. As such, there is no such thing as national, international. Only the laws of India state, what is local, what is national, what is international. That's as far as PGS goes. But there's nothing stopping PGS. Like for example, if we have some group of farmers growing maybe tur dal in Maharashtra, and they are PGS certified. So currently there's nothing stopping them from taking that PGS certificate and trying to sell it in maybe Delhi or Bombay or Pune and so on and so forth. It's just that who do they sell it to? Does that person know what PGS is all about or not? Currently it is that situation. Third question was, I think you had asked the question whether, the way the discussions have gone, is there a market present already or are we trying to create it? I would say we are somewhere in between right now. There is already a large underground movement, and that's what I will call it right now, because over the ground there's so many people who don't know what this organic thing is, both the farmers end as well as the customers end. So now over a period of time we are seeing more and more mainstreaming of this idea of sustainable organic really. Sustainable agriculture is still a little way ahead, far ahead in terms of complete understanding in a national context. So there are already markets, manifestations of which you would see some companies who are part of this discussion, who are growing organic, who are selling it to various stakeholders across the country. We saw garments being sold at Shoppers Stop. So there are customers who go and buy those garments, cognizant of the fact that it is organic. But then the overall idea that all of us try to achieve, or at least think of, is that there should be a mass movement really. Because sustainable agriculture only survives in both the extremes. that almost all the farmers take to organic farming, because all of us believe that sustainable agriculture takes care of food security, etc., all those things. As well as the fact that the customers, they also think about it and think in terms of safety, think in terms of sustainability and that. So somewhere in between that.
I think that question has been addressed, whether demand for organic is there in the domestic market or not. It is somewhere in between, and there could be different levels and forms of demand. There could be under demand, over demand, latent demand, and express demand. So demand is always there. The issue is, are we able to, in a positive sense, exploit that hidden or overt opportunity? If that was not the case, there will not be Fab Indias and Down to Earth and others in this country today. And it's available around the corner these days in most of the cities. So it is there. It needs to be cultivated further and needs to be harnessed, if not exploited. I just one more light comment on this question Sudha asked about outcomes versus JKS. Both are organs of the state in some sense. Outcome is state-run cooperative. JKS is state-run society. I think that's very in the same state for similar purposes with a little difference. So both are organs of the state, creation of the state, supported by the state, one even run by the state in totality. So I think we need to differentiate how much state we need, in what form and for what purposes. That's where they differ. Thank you very much. I would like to thank all the panelists for wonderful contributions and all of you for participating in the discussion and the organizers for giving me this opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you, all the speakers and Professor Palji.
Just okay, 1 minute. In fact, I am organizing a seminar at Regional Center of Organic Municipal, and the theme is can organic farming enhances soil health and livelihood. Okay, soil health is scientific and livelihood is a common name. And I all assembled here, all the people, dignitaries and all NGOs, activists. It's a wonderful experience. I request, I have the emails, I will invite you, and I like that all should come over to Bhubaneswar, and maybe the date is not decided, maybe in August or September. Okay. So I will inform you. Keep it in mind, this resolution of organic farming, organic farming enhances livelihood, the basic issue, what we call jointly. Second issue is, we have in Delhi, we are discussing about the subsidies issue. Okay, this feeding farmers, and you are well aware, because why I am addressing this issue here. All NGOs and activists, many of the people who address these common people, they are there. And we know we spend about more than 60,000 crores for chemical fertilizers. So, on the other hand, we find that from Goa and the University of Delhi, we had people from Greenpeace organized the society. And there we presented a paper, and that was given to Finance Ministry, because nowadays issue is a nutrient-based subsidy system. And we take
Dr. Bissoy, I'm so sorry. The last section is very critical for the workshop. I'm sorry that I butted in. We're grateful that you're all here, but probably